I don't know. I think that technique is it can be risky business, but I am glad it worked out for him. We lost. Let's
Oh, yeah, I
see,
lost in a big
one.
way. Oh my goodness.
Uh, I didn't loop very well. I will admit that.
Yes, hand it to me.
But that was the end of a four-game streak for the team. 12-3 for the team, 6-9 for you, 11-4. I don't know. Should we play? Should we do this? Because I don't want you. I don't like if we play this. I really want you to play like safe. You know,
Well, that's
because I don't want.
yeah, but you say that, but you really don't mean
Hmm.
that. Because if I play it safe, I'm not doing anything, and that won't fear you. What are you doing while I'm healing? Yeah, but I gotta get that gen done. Like you, you do want me to get out, but you can't win and play safe. You know,
I think that's true.
you've got to now. You can like when it gets down to like maybe the last generator, and if everyone's alive, then like then be like, well, I'm just gonna kind of hide here. But when you're trying to get like against the Wraith, I could have just been like, well, I'm not gonna do the gen. I'm just gonna go hide here in the corn, and you guys figure out how to get the gen done. And that game could have ended adversely different had I just been like, well, I'm playing safe, man. I'm not, I'm on death hook, so I'm not going to do anything. Um, and even in that game, I thought I was playing that game as safe as possible. And there at the end, and he just, sniffed me out. So like, I can't, I can't go into a game and just crouch on the wall. That's not even really winning. That's just being in a game. And I always try to play safe to within a degree. Uh, but if the killer finds me, the killer finds me. I wasn't doing anything in that game to like, hey, killer, I'm right here. Uh,
I didn't check. Do you know if he had Call O'Brien?
I didn't look, but I had it's like he didn't even find me when I was doing gens. Like he just found me. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like the first time he found me, I was working on a gen. It was like right at the beginning of the game, and he just came in,
Yeah,
weaved right in through the middle of the building and got to me.
yeah. The thing
Um,
he did well was he bounced in, and he just knew someone was gonna go to that gen. Does that make sense?
yeah, no, he was a very uh, he's a very good blight. Like I gotta admit, I kind of zoned out. I didn't check his prestige level or anything like that. He was a very very good blight, and I just didn't do my job. And that's even again like after my second hook, I'm like, well, I'm just gonna come over here, and I was like, there was no heartbeat. I got away from everything. I'm like, yeah, I hadn't even touched the gen. I hadn't even touched the gen in a certain building. I'm like, I'll just come over here and I'll play it safe. And I think I even healed up. And like no, like he just chased me down, and I don't know. But the real only way I know to play safe is to stay away from gens. That's not going to help us win. That's And that's the only thing I could have done different in like all these losses is just find a corner and huddle there. Like I'm not doing gens,
Yeah,
and that makes everyone angry, right? Like not just like you, but then teammates are like, this dude's not doing anything. He's just hiding in the corner.
true.
So it's just
I will say I just checked. You're at 40% on the night, which, is not a great night.
But well, actually, Dead by Daylight thinks it is. 40% is where they
Dead by
want.
Daylight says this is what we want.
Yeah.
You know.
This is where we want you, and that's I the Pinhead game no, and this game no.
Yeah.
The other game.
You watch this. If this is Pinhead, I don't know, man. I would you remember? I think it was a Pinhead. We were in the game and it was Pinhead and they DC'd, and we were just kind of left holding the bag.
Yeah.
I don't, you know what I mean? Like, there's a part of me that's like, yeah, no, if it's Pinhead, we DC, but then we do to them what those guys did to us, and that's just.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna play the game. Well, I got, so within the realms of if for any other game, if you play any other game and you have a 40% win rate, it's not good. Dead by Daylight's no, you have 40% win rate as a survivor. You should be very happy with how the night's going. So, there were two games. This Blight game, the Pinhead game, were just horrible. There were other games where I just felt I didn't play well, but I was in the game. And then I had some other games that even though I lost, I thought I played well in. So, I'm not bemoaning what my record is tonight.
Ah, well, someone did that, which is good because I need to use the restroom. So I'm going to ready up, but then I'm going to go to the bathroom. So who was it? What? I just wonder, who did what?
Survivor disconnected.
Was that a nurse? No, that was Mastermind. I didn't want to do that either. All right, so I'm going to ready up, but then I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick because I readied up and we started loading in. I'm like, yeah, I don't know if my concentration's going to... I started doing a little wheel dance. I'll be right back. Oh, I'm going to ready up and then I'll be right back. All right. Are you? Oh, you are ready. Okay. All right.
No, I forgot to ready up.
Yeah, well, better now than, I walk in after using the bathroom and you're on a hook. All right.
NPCs 4, give up 4.
Yeah. So I did start tracking games where you made the sacrifice play, like you. And there were 3 games tonight alone. One game where you ran them for the 2 gens in Coldwind. The one game where you got the streamer off the hook. And the Wraith game, where you made the play that allowed others to live. And that is a thing I want to track, because as I've been contemplating, I was like, he does that a lot. Like, he does that a lot. I don't know how often I do it. Maybe I should track it for me. Like, there was a game where, like, 3 people died, and you got out. You know?
Yeah, that was the whole team sacrificed for me.
You know? And I think that matters. Like, when I'm playing, and it's kind of weird, it's hard to explain. Hatch in the main building. We're gonna go to the game. The whole... Anyway. What was I? Where was I going? It matters. So, if I'm on the hook and I'm getting camped, I want survivors to do the gens and get out. I'm getting camped. I'm dead. Don't worry about it. It sucks, but it's my turn. But when the other survivors are making a real effort to get other guys out, is that you with me right here?
We're all here.
Of us.
We're all
So
here.
distortion, right?
No distortion.
All right.
On this jet?
Blight. Probably the same one. Blight.
Nah. Different one. He is on you, though.
I'm in chase.
Nice.
I had to do that because I was out of position.
So not good that they're doing that
bull
jet
crap!
all the way in the corner. It's not good.
Bull crap, baloney. Yeah, nope.
Yeah, that's not good.
Oh,
That's not good.
that's not good. I did not do well. I did not do well.
You got
Alright.
you got a gen out of it.
I did. I got a gen out of it. I'm happy. I feel like there was more meat on the bone.
Yeah.
Oh, this would be good. He is heading your way. She got in a thing. Hopefully she'll get either... She's coming for me, so I'm gonna say... Oh, yeah. Yep. Oh, flashbang. I'm blind, but you're doing the right thing. You are. This is actually okay.
She's on the jet
I think
now.
she's gonna trade. Careful, the loop.
No, but I will.
There you go. Here's your window. That's a good play.
What a mistake. We just made a horrible mistake. 2 gens in that
We 3
corner.
gen. Yeah.
I think, yeah. That's bad. That is so bad. We just shut down a whole area of the map. He doesn't have to worry about that area now.
I think she is insisting on healing me.
Alright.
He's here.
Go ahead, take the hill. I
That's-
got the save.
Yeah, no, I'm in
Oh,
chase.
Alright, never mind.
He's camping, or not camping, but
Yep, she wants to be healed. At least we got 2 gens done, I guess. I mean, 2 gens, 2 hooks.
so there's a gen here all by its lonesome. I wish she would go somewhere consistent. I'm kind of running away.
Now
There
you're
we
going.
go.
Yeah, she's heading in that direction.
No, she's looping main building. I'm gonna get some work done on this hill.
I don't even know. Like that's probably not good gen to do right there. I just don't
well,
know.
I mean, there's 2 gens here.
I'm not talking about you. Me. I was talking about my gen. Distortion? Distortion?
Yeah,
Alright, here's a gen. Here's a gen.
that is a 3 gen. There's the unhook. You kind of tunnel that out. If we do these 2 gens, we might be onto something. Of course.
Here, come over into this. Oh no, he's on you now. Crap.
All I can do is run to the dead zone.
Yeah. Yep. Yep, that back corner.
I'm just shift Wing, that's all I got. Wow, that was a long chase.
Yeah, they're on your gen.
Yeah, someone's got a boon. Now they're healing at the boon. They're not on the gen. You're on the gen, so
Well,
yep.
yeah, I guess what? As I was going to let go to come
Yeah,
save you.
you're gonna come get me. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yep.
it blew up. So, you know, I don't.
That's just how it's gonna go. Now I got that boon I can go to and heal.
Or I can just heal you real quick here, so you don't have to go all the way across the map.
But he's so fast. We'll see.
Yeah, but I'll take hits for you.
All right,
All right,
off I
follow.
go.
We're gonna want to get in range because barbecue.
I got it. I'm in range. She is on a gen. That's good.
Yeah, she's doing the hill gen.
Is that a scourge hook?
Jump.
Dang it!
Where are you? Oh.
I'm dead, so I'm gonna try to give you these gens.
No. Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah, he was gonna tunnel me. It's gonna happen. Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. You're not gonna block me 87,000 times. One gen done. There's something at least. And another gen getting worked on. She's in position. Now
Yeah,
she's
dead
not.
now. She's dead. Wow.
Jeez Louise, that lunge is for real. Yeah, that's... And, yeah, so... That was an example, like, I didn't run very well. I acknowledge it, I didn't run very well. And he knows where she is. She's just gonna come straight at her.
Yeah.
She should throw the thing down now. What are you doing?
Pretty soon.
I guess you run as far as you can. I don't know where you go. Oh. Yeah, so that's not the most efficient stuff on gens. Nice stun. So I don't think anyone was ever going to get out of this game, though. Good, good, you got it. Why not? Why not? Like, you returned the favor.
Yeah. I mean, she came all the way over.
And then she just dies. Come on. So, my assertion is we were never going to get out of that game because the boldness, like, and this was a good night. Even with this loss, this was a good night of Dead by Daylight. The comparison is the boldness on the other gens and the survivor play on this game was much different than other games we played tonight. She came to get me, and thank you, I appreciate it. But then when Blight came after her, she then continued looping by me, which caused us to clump together. And while all that was going on, it took a minute for the person to come and get on your gen, which is then when you came and got me, but she was still looping there. So he had all three of us, and then he's like, I'm going to tunnel you out. Then when he, I got too aggressive on gens. You could say that I got too aggressive, but I'm going to do gens if you and I are the only ones on gens. I don't have a choice, because if gens don't get done, no one gets out. But then there was the boon, and then there was the boon, and the other person said, I'll heal you at the boon. So even though she could have healed herself, the other guy's like, no, I got you, fam. And that kind of inefficiency is going to be in favor of the killer. So I'm not trying to, like, trash talk, but, you know, we ended the night as a team at 12-4, and those 12 games, if you go back and you watch, 3 people on 3 different gens, 4 people on 4 different gens. There's a 3 gen. We're all attacking the 3 gen with Prove Thyself. The survivors are, and then, like, scattering when the killer comes by instead of staying together. And so I absolutely could have run him better. I didn't do very well. You were top scorer. You were top scorer in a 4K, so that's good. But I affirm that nobody was going to get out of that game because you didn't have the same commitment to attacking the generators and doing it in a tactical manner that you had in other that we had in other games. Everyone, I do affirm that they were playing hard. You know what I mean? I do. Yeah, I do believe that they were genuinely trying. I just think that when you're playing, you know, there are certain things you kind of got to do. Like something I've started doing, particularly tonight. Where's the 3 gen? Like right off the bat, where's the 3 gen? You know, only doubling up on generators when it's a 3 gen opportunity for the killer. Those are just things I think, you know, because you have people complain about Swift. And the strongest, and again, they'll say it, man, in Swift the gens fly. Right, they do. That's because when you're playing Survive with friends, you have way more confidence that, you know, hey, I know what's going on, so I feel more capable in going for getting on the generator and getting to work. If solo queue or, you know, less than 4-man teams, if you spawn on a gen and you're like, cool, like, I've been doing this for a while, like with, that McMillan, that's basically 2-3 gens. The Auto Haven, same way. Like, well, I'm like, hey, I'm on main building side. Do you want to stay here, or do you want to go to, do you want to go to the shack side? Making sure, that was McMillan too, by the way, huh? Making sure that we're not 3-genning ourselves before we start. I heard you when you realized it, but you realized that they did 2 gens on the same spot of the map, right after that second gen got done.
Well, no, I realized that I was doing a gen and they were doing the one behind me, and
Yeah.
I realized, but by that point, I was pretty deep into that gen, and you were in chase. So
Yeah.
here was the quandary I found myself in. Do I keep doing the gen, reward the chase, or do I break off this gen and just go find another gen, and then
That's a good question.
not reward
But
the chase, because now I have to run and find another gen that I think is, in a better area strategically.
yeah, and the Blight can cross map so quickly. He got such great map pressure. So you never really know. But like, I wasn't, so we spawned together, and again, when we spawned together, like, you and I do a real good job of, like, okay, we're getting the heck away from these other guys. Because, first off, there's probably a discordance thing or whatever's going on, get away. I think my first chase was okay, but you could argue it wasn't. Like, people talk about chases, and the time of the chase is good, but, I don't know. I heard True Talent talk about it. Like, oh, he's not really looping well. He's just got a bunch of pallets. I would then posit, okay, True, 1v1 a killer of your choice only in a TL wall, and see how long that chase lasts. Now, I have seen him use the living crap out of a TL wall, but when he's playing, if you watch, and again, he's great, that's why I talk about him, he'll position himself and think about, like, okay, if he comes this way, I'll go to that pallet. So when you're targeting pallets, it's the same thing. You're using pallets to protect yourself. So if using pallets is not a sign of your skill, then I don't know how many skilled players there are. Now, some people can use pallets more effectively and whatnot, but, like, now, on the extreme side, if you're in the game and you throw down one of the 75 power pallets in there and then you teabag, well, first off, you're wasting a whole lot of time. You should just be going to the next loop. But you shouldn't be, like, showing off. So that's just, like, really weird. But he had such great pressure. But when the map started, what I know is you and I scattered, and I knew you were all there, so when he came at me, I had to charge him and go to the pallet and then go to the other side where the main building was. So in their defense and in your defense, all you knew is the chase is that way. Why would I go over there? So you two were doing the gens, and I looped him for the gens, but, like, he just found me. And again, I mentioned this in another video. When one of us is found first, it's not typically a good sign.
Yeah.
And I got found first, and I got found quickly. And I can't really be mad at them at that point in the game. Like, in that point in the game, they knew the chase was on that side of the map, and we need to get a gen done. And you did the same thing. But then in my second chase, when you're on a gen, they spend all that 20 seconds to get a boon, and then after the boon was done, they stopped doing a mid-gen, and you guys were down to 1 gen. If the other players had said, you're at a boon, heal your darn self, I'm going to finish this gen, then it stands to reason the gens are done. Now, did they get out or not? That's a different question. But I still affirm that boons are actually helpful to killers. And they're even more helpful to killers when the whole point of a boon is I can heal without help so that the rest of the team can either be getting saves or being on gens. Now, again, just like in all things, there are times like, hey, you're dead on hook, let me heal you. You know, there's no one in chase and there's 2 people on gens, because you do heal faster, but you're being super inefficient when you're healing a person at a boon. And so I'm found first and I'm found quickly. And the survivors, like not all 4 survivors are really committed to the chase. You probably, like, I don't think that game was ever going to go any other way. That being said, the team went 12-4. That's a fantastic night. I went 11-5, and that's I'm happy about it. You went 6-16. You went 6-10, so 6 out of 16. So you finished at 38%. But you had 3 games where you, one game where you willingly chose to die to let someone out. So that's 40%. And 2 games where, well, let me do it this way. 1 game where you knowingly traded. You're like, I'm going to let this guy kill me. Get out of the game. I'm out. 1 game where you went into chase, and even though you were dead on hook, you ran away from the 2 gens and allowed for us to get the gens done. And you were just found. And then the Wraith game where you got the last gen done, so that in and of itself would have meant like you're the reason we got out. But then you went to a door and the Wraith just kind of said, hey, I know you're going to go for this door and you're dead on hook. I am going to try to remember that. That is a lesson I want to take away. Hey, you're dead on hook and you already got the last gen done. Hey, wherever you go, don't go to a door yet. Let people who have hooks to give go to the door. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So like, I feel convicted tonight in regards to your death count. You know? Because you had the last Blight game, that was never gonna, that wasn't gonna work. And again, efficiency on gens. Watch streamers. Watch when Otstarva and True and anyone, watch when they freak the heck out. When those gens are going, when it's 4 people on 4 different gens in 4 different parts of the map, they already know they lost. And if people play that way, we're going to win way more often than we don't. But someone's going to die more often than not. And I'm convicted because tonight it was your turn. I remember there were other nights where it was my turn to be the one who died a lot and you got out a lot. You still have the best streak, and yes, your streak was back when hatches were a thing. But, you know, I think it bears, like I used to tally first one found, I might need to do that again. It bears thinking about like, okay, hey, you kind of got some losses, you know, but the hard thing is you and I both, like neither one of us is strong enough to be like, hey man, you're 6 and 8 now. Let me loop the killer. Like, you know, you watch Hardcore Survivor. We can body block and we can take aggro, but what we can't do is take body block and aggro and then honestly expect for that chase to be very long. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I remember one game where there were people dead on hook and you were trying to keep them in the game, which that is a purposeful use of body blocks and going down and trading hooks. I think it's debatable, but it makes a lot of sense. If that guy dies, we're severely hindered in our ability to get out. But it leaves us in games like this where one of us goes 6 and 10 and the other one doesn't. And I feel convicted tonight. And I don't know how you feel.
I'm fine. we've been playing the game for a while now.
Yeah, at
Since
least 4 years.
since the patch update, which I was, I think it just took time for things to settle, whether or not it was broken. If you go back months ago, all conversations, I was like, this patch is going to hurt a lot of survivors because it's going to take
It did.
longer to get gens done, and they brought in, all of these gen regression perks.
Mhm.
Because that's my thing. I said, so it takes even longer to get gens done, and now they have ways to slow gens down more. So I was like, we're going to lose more games. And at the beginning, it wasn't that way. We were still, and I was really surprised. I'm like, that is so surprising that we're still doing okay. And, then things started to kind of even out, and killers started to realize, what they had in these perks. So
Mhm.
I expect most nights to be like this for me. And that's to play the game now. You can't have the mindset of the expectation of like, I should be able to go into this game and win 10 out of 14 games or whatever.
Mhm.
Can't have that expectation. Not to play this game and have good mental health, good emotional
Yeah.
health. Like, so again, against that blight, blights are tough. Good blight, not the best. The best blight, one of the best, was the one played prior to that map, but it was still a good blight. I thought I played a good game. Were mistakes made? Yeah, but I thought I played a good game. Tonight there were 2 games that I was just miserable in. There were maybe 3 games that I just felt I didn't play well, and I contributed, but I felt like I could have played better. And then there was a bunch of other games. Even if I lost, I thought I played well, or I escaped. Maybe I didn't even play well, and I escaped. So where I was, 38%, a couple shy of 40%. That's where the devs want me to be. They don't want, and I'm again my win-loss record that you were tracking. You were like, that was when I was smurfing, and you're like, well, you would have escaped that one, so I'm going to give you a win on that one. So I had this ballooned escape record, and now that I've actually just started playing the game, the game's looking at me now, going like, well, no, you need to, you need to be in line. So, so I'm fine with tonight. Yeah, you're never happy that you get the overall night. I go, well, good night. This is, team had a record that we're more used to seeing. You had a good night. That's good. You play a lot, so I think you need probably a night like tonight where feel good about the game. I don't play a whole lot, so by the time next week rolls on, I would have forgotten about the bad nights. Or not that they were bad, but like I have a whole week to forget about it.
Yeah.
So I felt fine about tonight. I'm not upset that I didn't, like, oh, why did he get out and I didn't get out? Like, I made all the decisions, all the choices. They were all mine. Even going to the door. I'm like, all right, I don't care. I'll go to the door. If that's going to help the team get out, then that's what I'll do. And I never once went like, well, you're the reason I died. I'm a grown man. You can say go to the door, and I can be like, no, I'm not going to go to the door. but that situation, I was like, yeah, I'll give it a shot. Why not? I did say afterwards, I'm like, I think going to the door was, not the right choice, and turns out it wasn't. But you said a thing, but I decided that, like, yeah, I'm gonna do that too. Because, but I don't blame anyone. I blame anyone. It's me. I don't care what you say. You could say, Ben, go run out and let the killer find you and go stand underneath the hook. Like, in the end, I make the decision about what I'm going to do. You know, being in a team, you should listen to input from your team and, you know, go, does that compute? And at the time, I kind of did. In hindsight, I did say that was probably the wrong call. But that was the wrong call from both of us because
Yeah.
you said a thing and I decided, yeah, that I agree with that call and I will go and do it. And you know, so I didn't want that taken out of context. That like, oh, you're the reason I died. No, you didn't grab my controller out of my hands and go here, go over here. You know, I made that decision. I thought I might get, you know, sometimes you get lucky. I thought, well, maybe the killer will go to the other door because, you know, maybe Chase took him closer that way. Because anyway, I don't want to dwell on that one thing, but in the end, I made all my decisions. I feel absolutely fine how the night went. Um, I'm where the game wants me to be. Should I aspire to do better? Sure. But I will be angry if I've won 3 games and we've played 14. I will not be feeling good. But it's also because of those nights where the game is conditioning me to look at a night like tonight and go, like, no, you should be actually really happy with tonight. And I'm pretty happy with tonight. Happy for you, happy for the team, happy that, you know, I did win, was competitive in some games. So yeah, I'm you know, I'm fine. Yeah, maybe one day I have another good night and you don't. We just got to remember, like, the team's doing
Sometimes
well,
it's your turn.
and even if I'm not winning, you know, 10 out of 14 games, you know, if the roles reverse, we just have to remember, like, but hey, I didn't just win one game. I didn't just win 2 games. Like,
Right.
I won closer to what the game wants me to do. So, you
Yeah.
know,
And when I do the math, if I'm like, no, I was at 40%, you know, like if I'm at 40%, I'm probably content. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I get mad when I'm 1%. I get mad when I'm like, when I never get a win. That 0-6 night really just like hurt.
But that does even more to me that like the game is not really designed for solo queue because of all the changes they've made to it. Back in the day, it was because there were like how you know fast faults were a lot faster. Windows weren't blocked. You know, there were no aura finding. There were all these things that did make it. I would agree at that time more survivor sided, except for there was always the ability for the killer to camp and tunnel. Right, like that was always a thing, and that was more effective back then. But the survivors also had more abilities to um, evade, you know, the killer. I used to play really immersed, and a lot of my, you know, back in the day, my win streak was because the killer couldn't find me.
Yeah.
You know, so there were things that back in the day that made the survivor sides of things more effective, and through the course, through the changes, um, it's there are more aspects of the game that kind of benefit Survivor, and it's not a solo queue game anymore, unless you're just there to have fun. Unless you're Aaron making a video of how to use some perks. if you're like you and you're trying to solo queue to win, the game is not for you. It is not, because you play a lot and you play alone and you want everyone on the same page. And tonight you got a bunch of teammates who were, but more
Yeah.
than not, you're going to end up on teams with this guy wants to do bones, this guy wants to do a chest, this guy wants to try to get a flashlight stun instead of, actually on a gen. Uh, you know, this guy's going to loop around the hook. This guy's going to loop around the gen that needs to be done. This guy's going to run straight to the gen that you work. Like, there are too many factors that make solo queuing in this game unfeasible for someone that's trying to play the game competitively and not have fun. If you were just getting on every night and going, I'm going to goof around, I don't even care what happens, then the game's for you.
Mhm.
But you don't get on the game to play like that. So, I would almost recommend to you, for your own mental and emotional health, is to avoid solo queuing as a survivor.
Yeah, no, I had the rule again. 3 losses in a row means I'm done playing Survivor. What I also have is I had the original spreadsheet. So starting April in 2022, we were tracking our wins and our losses and things of that. All the way up to the 6.1 update. And that's relevant because from April to 6.1 update, I played 826 games. You played 356. And the team played 412.
Mm-hmm.
And some of those include my middle son. I was at 50%, 51% if you round up. 51%. My biggest losing streak was 8. You were at 49%. And your biggest losing streak was 7. And the team was sitting pretty at 62%. Why that's significant is 6.1. Now, I played many, we played almost double of that. But now I'm at 43 and you're at 45. The team's at 59. So the team, and that kind of lends evidence to your statement. You're playing even with just one other person, someone's going to get out about 60% of the time. But that's when now I will say my 11 game streak happened during the 6.1 update, and that's cool. But both of our 13 streaks, yours and then the other one we had as a team, both of those were pre 6.1 update. But our losing streak, yours went way up. Your biggest losing streak pre 6.1 was 7. You've had, so I'm going to say this again. Before 6.1, your biggest losing streak ever was 7, one time. Since 6.1, you've had 8 losses in a row 5 times. And 9 losses in a row 3 times.
Yeah.
And so, and that's, you almost never play unless you're playing with me.
Yeah. Well, the game's got to drop me down from the 50% win rate, and some of that's because I just go up against killers that are beyond me. Well, you too. It has to drop you from your 50% and my 49% or whatever. But again, part of that's also because you can't fix stupid. Like, we do get, like, the game does occasionally throw us, like, going against killers that we know we should beat. We're having a good game. And I'm not talking about, like, the one, like, the trapper that we're, and bid him, like, what a dumb trapper. Like, no, that's the smartest goddamn trapper we've ever played against. Right? But we're like, like, that guy wasn't, like, he lulled us to sleep and made it seem like, but we have legitimately played against killers that we should roll through.
Mm-hmm.
And then really dumb plays are made.
Yeah.
Some by me, some by you, some by the other
Yep.
survivors. Sometimes it's like a joint effort of stupidity, like, hey, let's do, you know. But Dead by Daylight can't fix that. We can't blame Dead by Daylight for that. What I can do
No.
is go like, Dead by Daylight, you just put me up against a Prestige 100 nurse. Like, what
Yeah.
is that? Like, what's that matchmaking? There's no way. Like, but then again, we go back to other conversations we've had. That Prestige 100 nurse, as
Mhm.
good as she might have been at, wiping the floor with our faces,
Mm-hmm.
potentially, she only has a 60% win rate, which
Yeah.
makes her average as a killer.
Mhm.
And if we're the 40%, we're average as survivors. So you take average survivors, put it with the average killer, even if the average killer is so much better than us at reaching their objectives, and the game goes, yeah, you guys are matched up, average versus average, instead of 40% killer versus. That's how I think. That's my belief how the matchmaking systems would be working. It takes average and average. 40% here, 60%. Those are the two averages. We're gonna mesh you guys together so that the killers.
I wonder. Yeah, no, I wonder if someone out there knows, like, how, when they do, well, so what I know is when they do MMR, there's a number assigned. And one thing I already know is that range between the top guys and the bottom guys is not as big as some people want to claim it is. Like our MMR, like I don't know, like you want to pick an arbitrary number. If the top MMR is 2,000, our MMR might be 1,500, but we're gonna play 2,000 guys because if the 2,000s only play 2,000s, then the game would really be sweaty, and it would take like 3 days to queue up to a game.
Yeah.
So what happens is after a certain number of seconds, it goes from like a certain range to like, and then we're getting recruited into that. And so those guys are benefiting because they're in order to get a game at all, they're bringing us into games against killers that are outside of our weight class. But that's not because Dead by Daylight's like being pointedly personally against us. The biggest problem with MMR is that there aren't enough players in Dead by Daylight to allow for MMR to truly keep the games fair. Like, if you had enough players and they'd be like, okay, so from 0 to 500, 0 to 500 survivors only play 0 to 500 killers, and you still get queued in a game relatively quickly, and up and up and up. But there are games where whatever, and again, I'm using arbitrary numbers because I don't have the numbers in my head, but what I know is we are playing top MMR killers. And there are people right now, if they're listening, they're like, "No, you're just being..." No, like, I'm just telling you, this is mathematical fact. This is not a debate. Scott Yoon did a post where he talked about another guy who did a post. He showed you the math, so you don't have to take my word for it. We're playing some top MMR killers because if top MMR only played top MMR, it would be like an hour to get in a queue, and they would literally play the same 10 guys every time. And if top MMR only played top MMR, me and my brother would never face Prestige 100 anybody. We don't have any business. Now, we did beat a Prestige 100 someone. I can't remember who it is, but we got that in there.
Well, I know that was a Prestige 100 Huntress that I crawled out of the game on, that everyone sacrificed themselves, basically. I don't remember any other...
Yeah, but she won that match. Yeah.
Yeah, I just can't remember any other Prestige 100s that
so let me rephrase it. One of us got out against a Prestige 100, but that Prestige 100 still won that game.
Yeah.
According to Dead by Daylight standards. So what I want to do real quick is I'm going to cycle out, And there's a thing I want to do because we've been on this stream for like an hour, but I wanna cycle out, and then I want to talk about a thing.